Let's talk agent skills. Skills are portable, on-demand extensions for AI agents. Think Neo from the Matrix downloading Kung Fu without the minor issue of forcing a foot-long spike right into the skull. Skills have been incredibly popular due to their simplicity and their economic token use. But this research on software engineering skills found that 4 out of 5 agent skills yielded zero improvement over not using a skill at all. In fact, some skills are more banana peel than power up mushroom, making the agent even worse than not using a skill at all. It's like if Neo's new skill hadn't improved his fighting, but given him balance problems or caused him to directly punch himself repeatedly in the face. Having said all that, some skills are incredibly powerful. One paper found that a small model with the right skill can beat a frontier model without one, which has some pretty big cost implications. So what separates a skill that actually boosts performance from one that just clutters the context window? We'll talk about exactly that and how you can write better skills in this video. Let's start by discussing why skills exist, which is to extend generative models. Yes, these models know a lot, but even the best ones can't know everything because nothing can, it's just not how knowledge works. First of all, models can't get access to every piece of private information in the world, like my private diary entry from 1999 anointing The Phantom Menace to be the best movie ever. And second, knowledge changes over time, like how we now know The Phantom Menace to be only the second best movie ever, right behind Morbius. But instead of admitting uncertainty, models still hallucinate with the energy of a random Redditor arguing with a Nobel laureate. In agent form, where models are given tools to interact with the world, this means that an agent can happily delete your work or production database while explaining in great, excruciating detail exactly why that was the right thing to do, at least right before they turn around and profusely apologize for their mistake. One obvious solution is to stuff the agent with everything that it might need, whether it be a long prompt, tools, or MCPs. But unfortunately, more context isn't free. Sure, context windows are getting larger, but every token that you add competes with the actual task, and researchers have found that unnecessary context actively degrades performance. This is why Anthropic built agent skills as an open standard. What makes skills different from other solutions is this idea of progressive disclosure. Skills allow you to organize the information that it might or might not need into packages, which can then be loaded only as it needs it. For an agent, this means a far more efficient, focused use of its context window. And for the user, faster inference, lower compute, and better results. All these benefits and the fact that skills are just text files led to rapid, broad adoption, leading to a huge range of public skills to choose from. This also meant that researchers were able to dig in and evaluate skills in detail. The resulting benchmarks, SkillsBench and SW SkillsBench, converge on these findings. 1. Longer skills generally perform poorly when compared to focused, concise skills. And 2. Narrow, specialized skills that fill real knowledge gaps help the most, like those that relate to concrete procedures or domain-specific ones. And 3. A smaller model like Anthropic's Haiku with a well-written skill can beat a frontier model like Opus with no skill. Let's spend a minute on that one because it's a big deal for your bottom line. In case you don't know, Haiku is the smallest model in Anthropic's product suite. Smaller models like Haiku are cheaper and faster, but they're also less capable. Think of it like a fast food line cook versus a Michelin-starred chef. But under the right circumstances, the line cook can provide great value. For example, if you give that line cook the exact recipe and the right equipment, they'll outperform a chef cooking blind in a tent. That's exactly what researchers found here. Haiku with well-written skills outperformed Opus on specific tasks. This is a big finding given the cost differences between a frontier model and a smaller one, and even the possibility of running local models. It's a reminder that you don't always need the latest or the biggest model. Size does matter, sure, but it's not everything. So far, we've talked about the impact of good skills. In other words, the Kung Fu kind of useful skill that elevates the agent, not the detrimental kind that might cause the agent to punch itself in the face. So what makes something a good skill? Luckily for us, the research gives us pretty good guidance on this. So let's start with the part that might matter the most, which is triggering. Remember that skills rely on progressive disclosure. This means that an agent must actively choose to read the skill to make use of it. And since an agent can only see the skill description entitled to make this choice, a skill with a poorly written description is unlikely to trigger at the right time. Much like how you wouldn't have clicked on this video if we had called it JP stares blankly into the void for an hour. With a poor description, the skill won't be loaded at the agent's time of need. Worse, it might be loaded for the wrong job, like how if you did want to watch me stare blankly at the screen for an hour, you'd be very disappointed at this video right now. The recommendations for skill descriptions are to keep it short but specific and to name concrete trigger scenarios. So don't write cryptic descriptions like helps with documents, which could both trigger on everything or trigger on nothing, depending on what the agent feels like. Instead, write something more specific and precise like use this skill whenever the user wants to create, read, edit, or manipulate Word documents. You can read this and concretely tell whether something is in or if something is out. That means the agent can trigger it at the right time and only at the right time. Once you've got the skill to trigger, then you can worry about making the contents useful without being excessive. Progressive disclosure isn't just limited to the idea of will this skill trigger. The skill package itself can have multiple documents with the body referring to additional references. And this kind of nested structure is really helpful because of the finding that excessive length is detrimental. The recommendation is to keep the main skill.md to a maximum length of 500 lines or so. Note that this doesn't put a limit on the total amount of information because of the ability to refer to more files. So for example, Elastic's own Kibana dashboard skill comes with over a dozen additional files, including JavaScript code, API references, and example JSON files. So it's just like a choose your own adventure book, if perhaps the adventure was the wonderful journey of vibe coding. In other words, only include the required information for the job. Before writing any line, ask yourself, would the agent screw this up without being told? So don't explain the obvious like what a database is. Definitely don't write follow best practices. That's not guidance, that's a fortune cookie. What you should write is the stuff specific to your context that prevents failures. Here are some examples in Anthropic's own skills creator skill. And look at the specificity here of lines like, save this data immediately to timing.json in the run directory. This is the only opportunity to capture this data. Or the grading.json expectations array must use the fields text, past, and evidence, not name, met details, or other variants. You can almost feel the original errors that inspired these lines when they tried to do the job before they wrote those skills. So when you're writing skills, use the energy of old Biff from Back to the Future, passing on his wisdom to a younger Biff before the mistakes. And here's a surprising one. In one study, skills with executable code examples tripled the pass rates of not having skills. Even in the age of vibe coding, the vibes vibe better when there are less vibes and more code. Another reminder that where specificity is available, you should use it. Speaking of specificity, this applies to versions and software libraries. So version mismatch skills were a notable failure mode that made agents worse. So don't write React project if you can write React 18 with TypeScript and Vite instead. Quick recap on skill writing: tight descriptions, compact structure, concrete code examples, and exact versioning. Master those and you'll be closer to a skill that actually triggers and delivers. Let me show you what this looks like in practice. I've been using a skill for ESQL query generation, which is Elastic's newer query language. It's a textbook case for a skill because ESQL is new enough that models don't have deep training data on it. And the name is similar enough to older Elastic Query DSL or even SQL that models confidently write the wrong thing. You can see here that without the skill, the model mixes up ESQL with some other syntax, creating a wrong command and inventing functions. But with it loaded, the model writes fluent, correct ESQL. That's the line cook with the recipe right there versus the confused chef without proper instructions and tools. So how do you prove that a skill is actually helpful and not just punching your agent in the face? Let's say that you've written a skill for logging data into your preferred observability stack like Elasticsearch. Step 1, compare the outputs. Take 5 or 10 real tasks and run them with and without the skill. The results are your quality signal, like whether the apps were correctly wired and whether the outputs were parsed correctly. Step 2, check if it's even triggering. Throw 20 different prompts at your agent, some logging related and some not, and record the results. If it's triggering on research this problem or write the readme, your description needs work. Similarly, if it's not triggering on setup logging for this AI agent, it probably needs work. Now, here's something that I found really interesting. Apparently, LLM-generated skills are generally not helpful at all. And if you think about it, it kind of makes intuitive sense, right? Skills work because they encode expertise a model doesn't have. So asking a model to generate its own skill is a little bit like getting a new grad to write their own onboarding. At best, it's going to be a lot of things that they already know, and at worst, they'll pass on incorrect information to the next person. What you should do instead is to start from real work and write skills for patterns of errors that you observe. Or better yet, write the evaluation tasks first, and then write the skill to improve on those evaluations. It's also good practice to periodically evaluate those skills over time. Models and harnesses will get better, and your preferences will change. And you don't always have to start from scratch either. There's already a huge ecosystem of skills out there to choose from. I've been writing my own skills too. I'm working on skills to help me generate visual explainers or plan tutorials, although I've yet to find a skill for outsourcing this job to an agent so I can go and play video games. I'd love to hear about your favorite skills, whether you wrote them yourself or if it's a public skill. And also, tell us about your experience creating your own skills if you did. What principles or tips do you find useful, and maybe which ones you don't find so useful? You can chime in the comments below, which happens to be right below the like button. That's it for me. Links to the resources are in the description. So drop your favorite skills in the comments, and I'll see you next time.